Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we break down 4 players that I think the New York Giants should go out and sign right now if they want to seriously compete in the 2024 NFL season. With Darren Waller retiring, the Giants have added $11.6 million in cap space. They now have roughly $12.5 million to spend. And if Joe Schoen entering year 3 with his seat, I'd say warming up a little bit with Brian Daboll right next to him, if that duo from Buffalo want to continue to be the leading operation managers, the main guys making decisions, they know they got to win football games this year. And if the Giants want to win football games, they need to add more talent. So we'll talk about 4 players they can go out and sign. We talked about them having $12.6 million in cap space. The Giants could add another $14.8 million in cap space if they were to restructure the contract of the all-pro offensive tackle, Andrew Thomas. I'm not someone that just goes all willy-nilly with these restructures because there's also always stuff on the back end that you have to deal with the restructure. That's what it does. It takes some money here and it puts some money here. So who becomes restructure candidates? Players you think are going to be a part of this organization for quite some time. It's exactly who Andrew Thomas is. There's not really a more perfect cap restructure or contract restructure candidate than Andrew Thomas. You keep him on the books and you push the money into the future. $14.8 million you can create, get you close to $30 million where you could sign multiple really good players. Not so sure I expect the Giants to do that. But I know this for a fact. If the Giants are serious, if they want to compete in the NFC, if they want to have a chance to play maybe for some meaningful games in the NFC East once we get to December and January, they need to go out and add more talent. This is a bottom 10 roster in the NFL, and I bleed Giants blue, but I'm also a realist. I can accept that. But I also know there's players out there in free agency at positions of need that still have gas in the tank that could help this team win football games. They need to go out and do it. Will they? I'm not so sure. I don't see why not. Should do everything every single year in the NFL to win at all costs. If you want the Giants to sign someone in NFL free agency with the $12.5 million they have to spend, or an additional $15 almost by restructuring Andrew Thomas, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon right now. Want the Giants to sign someone? Like the video. My first free agent target for the New York Giants, really the only player that I absolutely want them to go out and sign, is veteran cornerback Stephon Gilmore. This is a guy that is going to the Hall of Fame. This is someone that at one point was the best corner for a long stretch of time, best corner in the NFL. But he's 33 years old now, and he's not that same guy. But to all the people that tell me Stephon Gilmore is washed, I don't believe you, because I watched the tape. I talked to Tom Downey of the Dallas Cowboys report. He's hoping the Cowboys go back out and sign him. Why? Because he was pretty good for Dallas in the 2023 season. You look at some of his advanced metrics. When he was targeted, he allowed a completion percentage of just 54.9. That's a really strong number for any corner. He allowed 653 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 13 pass breakups and 2 INTs, and allowed just a quarterback rating of 83.3. For the people in the crowd that say he's washed, he's not good anymore, blase, I would say to you, of all cornerbacks in the NFL that had at least 800 coverage snaps, he was 25th overall from Pro Football Focus. So he's a top 25 corner in the league. Giants don't have one of those players. They need to go out and get one of those guys. You look at what he's done over the last 4 years for Gilmore, spending time with the Patriots, the Panthers, and the Colts, and the Cowboys. He's been good at almost every single spot. I know there's people going to be like, well, Marshall, Stephon Gilmore wants to play for a contender. And you know what? You might be right. You might be right. But does he want to play football for $10 million next year where the Giants could offer him that? Maybe he does. Make him say no. Make him tell you there is no dollar amount that you can pay me that will come play for your organization. If he does that, sure. But you should be calling him every single day and bothering the heck out of his agent. Because the Giants cornerback depth chart and where it sits right now, I'm not all that confident in this room. Deonte Banks is entering his second season in the NFL. And he looked like a rookie. And he looked like a rookie last year. And that's good and bad. Had some really good moments. Had some really not so good moments. I don't necessarily believe in Cordell Flott as a boundary corner. Nick McLeod is the slot. a little questionable to me. Is Trey Hawkins ready to take that step? Is David Long Jr. going to be your outside boundary corner? Is rookie Andrew Phillips going to slide into that slot and be ready to rock and roll? There is one player on this list that has NFL experience and been great great is even a stretch, has had great moments. That's Deonte Banks, and he's a rookie. They need him to be great. They need him to be great this year. And adding a guy like Gilmore that could help him out, show him the ropes, would make a lot of sense. Cordell Flott, he's expected to be the boundary corner on the opposite side of Deonte Banks. I don't have much confidence in him. I was begging for him to be the slot corner last year. He didn't earn the job and didn't play well enough to keep the job. You look at the 2022 snaps by alignment for Cordell Flott. Remember this. 270 slot snaps at the outside corner spot. 15 his rookie year. Then the next season, completely flips. He was an outside corner his rookie year. Then he was a slot corner his second year. Just 45 snaps on the outside in 2023, 432 snaps in the slot. So you had the guy completely change roles from rookie year to sophomore season. And really, his production wasn't good. You look at the stats from his first 2 years. Let's focus on 2022 when he was primarily an outside corner. He had a coverage grade of 70. Very good. He allowed just 178 yards and 1 touchdown, partially because he was only targeted 24 times. But of those 24 targets, he allowed 16 catches. Not ideal. No INTs. He did have 2 pass breakups his rookie season, and he had that big pass breakup on KJ Osborne in the divisional round against the Vikings that helped them win that game. Only 193 coverage snaps, which grew a lot from 2022 to 2023. But in 2023, he was a slot corner, and the results, they somewhat dipped. He had a coverage grade of just 59. He allowed 400-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, 40 catches on 62 targets, and had 1 INT and 3 pass breakups and 332 snaps. The Giants have to go out and add a proven veteran outside corner to this roster. If the Giants are going to win football games, if they're going to win 7, 8, 9, 10 games, they want to play meaningful football in December. They want to compete in January. They are going to have to do it because they are one of the best defensive teams in the National Football League. And if you go out and sign Stephon Gilmore and you pair him with Banks, and you got Belton, and you got Newman, and you got Pinnock, and you got Lawrence, and you got Thibodeau, and you got Burns, and you got Okereke, you got all those guys, you could potentially go from a good defense to a great defense. And I really only see that as the main formula for them to compete. Good thing is, according to Aaron Wilson, who covers the NFL, he thinks that, or he knows that the New York Giants have already been contacting corners. Said this today. Multiple NFL teams, including Texans, Raiders, Giants, Rams, Commanders, Dolphins, made prospective contract offers or serious inquiries about signing Steven Nelson, the veteran corner, this offseason, according to several general manager and league sources. However, Nelson made the choice to instead retire for family and business reasons. So what does this tell me? The New York Giants know they need to go out and add a veteran corner. They were already reportedly offering Steven Nelson a contract offer. So if it's not Gilmore, some of the other top corners that are still jobless in NFL free agency include Xavien Howard. There's some off-the-field stuff going with him. Not sure if I'm too interested in him, but he's a good football player, and those are all, I think, just alleged, but I'm not going to spend much more time on that. Adoree Jackson, I don't really see a reunion happening. Marcus Peters didn't look too good with the Las Vegas Raiders last year. I'm all in on adding Patrick Peterson if he wants to come play here. And you got guys like Tre Herndon, Akhello Witherspoon, J.C. Jackson, Duke Shelley, Chandon Sullivan, and former New York Giant, Fabian Moreau. So, not that much talent left in free agency. But, man, if you could add Gilmore or Howard, if everything's okay, maybe look at Patrick Peterson, I think that could make some sense for this football club. I know this, though. If the Giants sign Stephon Gilmore, we are going live on the channel. If the Giants sign Gilmore, we're going live. So subscribe and turn the notifications on so you never miss a thing. The next player we're going to talk about on today's show is another defensive back. And this is someone I haven't spent too much time talking about. We're going to talk about Justin Simmons on today's show. And the reason we haven't brought him up too much is because I think the Giants are somewhat content with the safeties that they have in Belton and Pinnock as well as Newman. But man, Simmons is a good football player. And at one point, he was a top 5 safety in this league, and he's still probably a top 10 safety in this league. He's a guy that's going to play a lot of football for you. 15 games this year, 12 the year before, 17 the year before that, and 16 between that. He can do everything on a football field that you want a top flight safety to do. You want him to be a single high guy, he could do that. You want him to be a cover 2 safety, he could do that. You want him to roll into the box and provide run support, he could do that. You want him to slide in the slot and be a big nickel and match up on some tight ends, he can do that as well. And even though I don't think that safety is one of the bigger needs for the New York Giants, Justin Simmons, if they signed him, would be their best safety. If the Giants signed Justin Simmons, he would be their best safety on this roster. And at the end of the day, it's about talent. The teams with the most talent, they usually win the most games. And you can never have too much talent in the secondary. And let's just not go out there and act like the Giants safeties are some proven commodities in the National Football League. Dane Belton, although I love what he does, I love how he's always around the football. I love how he's someone that turnovers find him. Are we sure that he's going to be a stud for 17 games? I sure hope so. But we can't say that Dane Belton's better than Justin Simmons. I love Jason Pennock. Shout out to Jay Penny. Can't say he's better than Justin Simmons. Tyler Nubin's an unproven rookie. So yeah, I would be interested in signing Simmons if the dollar matched up with the value that I have assessed for him. And you can never have too many dudes. You can never have too many guys on the back end, especially in this new defense, coached by Shane Bowen, who comes over from the Tennessee Titans. We know by now, if you watch this show, that Shane Bowen likes to operate with multiple defensive backs on the field. He loves those multiple safety looks. He is a guy that ran the dime personnel package, which is 6 DBs on the field at the second highest clip in the National Football League. And I'd love to see a safety package of Simmons with Pennock and Belton and maybe Nubin in there. Maybe we go crazy when we throw 4 safeties out there. I'd be all in on signing Simmons if the price was right. From defensive back to the trenches on the offensive line. I'm going to talk about Connor Williams as a free agent target for the New York Giants. The only thing with Williams is I don't think that he's ready to play football right now. He's still rehabbing from that torn ACL, so he's not 100% yet, and that does worry me. That does worry me. I don't know when he's going to be ready to play. But if it's a little bit closer, to the football season, I think that makes sense. Because that at least gives you the opportunity to roll through the summer with Jermaine Illuminor as your left guard before you bounce him out to right tackle to take the spot of Evan Neal. You look at the career numbers for Connor Williams when it comes to PFF. Last year he was one of the best in the business for the Miami Dolphins. He had an 86.5 offensive grade, 90.5 run blocking, and a 71.7 pass blocking. When the dots are green, that's good. And he's been good for really the last 4 years of his career. One of my favorite parts about Connor Williams' game is he started off as a center with with a guard with the Dallas Cowboys, and then when he signed with the Miami Dolphins, he became a center. So he's got that versatility and really the skill set, to play both positions. And with this Giants offensive line, I think that could go a long way. Ideally, this is your starting 5 from week 1 to week 17, right? Hopefully it is Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Illuminor and John Michael Schmitz and John Runyon and Evan Neal at right tackle. I just don't have any confidence in Evan Neal. I don't think he'll be your starter week 17. If he is, that's awesome. That means that he had a really good season. But I do think that we need to prep for the fact that Evan Neal is probably going to be replaced by Jermaine Illuminor, who will slide to right tackle, and then you have a spot at left guard. I like Stinney, and I like Schlottman, but Williams is a much more proven player with just a higher ceiling. So definitely someone that I'm going to be looking at the remainder of the summer. That could be a guy that you maybe sign a month before the season starts as he continues to rehab from that torn ACL. The offensive line and their performance is going to swing on the shoulders of Evan Neal. So my question to you is this. What's your confidence level in Evan Neal as he enters year 3 in the NFL? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident at all. 10, this guy's going to get it done, and he's going to be that top 7 pick that we all thought he was coming out of Bama. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. From the trenches on offense to the trenches on defense. The last player we're going to talk as a free agent target for the New York Giants is Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell has always been one of my favorite players in the NFL. He is just a behemoth of a human being at 6'8", 370 pounds, and at the age of a young 37, the dude is still trucking. He was still one of the best interior defensive linemen in college, in the NFL last year. At season, whatever it was, at age 37, 56 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. But the most important stat, in my opinion, for Campbell at 37 is he played all 17 games last year for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not worried about durability with him. I'm not worried about age with him. And I don't need someone to come in here and be an ace for this defensive line. I need an innings eater. I need a guy that could just give us a little bit more juice. And that's exactly what Campbell can do. 6.5 sacks last year, 5.5 the year before that. And then in 15 games, he had 49 tackles for the Ravens in 2021. And the year before that, he had 4 sacks. So the guy still has something to give to this game. And it's a position that I think the Giants could benefit from adding another talented individual to. We know that Burns is going to be awesome. We know that Dexter Lawrence is going to be sexy Dexy. We all know year 3 at Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be better than what we've seen so far. But, man, is Raheem Nunez-Roches ready to be a down-in, down-out starting defensive tackle? Is Jordan Riley ready for that? Is DJ Davidson ready for that? I don't know. I just simply do not know. Is Jordan Phillips ready for that? The guy that you brought in from the Buffalo Bills? Is he ready for that? I'm not so sure either, which makes Calais Campbell a strong option for me if I was Joe Schoen as to who I would sign in NFL free agency. We've gone through 4 players on today's show. Stephon Gilmore, Justin Simmons, Connor Williams, and Calais Campbell. If you had to pick one of these players to sign, who would it be? Is it the veteran corner? Is it a strong, talented safety? Is it an offensive lineman that gives you depth and more talent overall? Or is it the interior defensive lineman that would help you improve upon the position that's already the most talented on this team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And just give me Stephon Gilmore, man. Stephon Gilmore. I want to start a video in the next month like this. Stephon Gilmore, you are a New York Giant. I want to say it so bad. Will it happen? I don't know. I know this. Brian Dable, seat's heating up a little bit. Joe Schoen, your seat's heating up a little bit. And you know how you win games in this league? You had really good players. And Stephon Gilmore, he's still one of them ones. Make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I am also on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. So if you want more Giants content, hit me up over there.